Okay, so we're gonna make our own mold and deckle, and so I have these two frames that are the same size. It's better if they're a little simpler than this, but I just already have these. So first off, I took out all of the little like metal pieces that are in here. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is measure out some of this netting to the size of one of these frames. And I'm gonna use this one because this one's wood. The other one is plastic. Get a little bigger than the frame, because I can always cut off excess. And then I'm just gonna cut around here. Yes, I'm using kitchen scissors, but I will wash them when I'm done. Okay, just like that. I don't know if you can see that. Beep. Just like that. For those of you that are wondering, this is just window screening replacement. I just bought this off of Amazon. I just looked up window screen replacement and it was like $12 for this huge thing, which you do not need this much, but I mean, I guess I can make a lifetime amount of these mold and deckles. So, now we have this, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I'm gonna take this netting and I'm gonna put it over the front of the frame, just like this. And I'm gonna pull it tight to one side and I'm gonna start to staple along the edges. So I ended up just, instead of going on the sides, because it's kind of a strangely shaped frame, I'm just doing it also in the back to make it a little more even and to be able to pull it a little tighter. Okay, so this is what we ended up with after it's all stapled. I just stapled down the corners so that those weren't sticking out. And there we go, we're ready. We can go right on top like this. And we're gonna test it out now. So to start off the process, you need to first rip up a bunch of paper into tiny pieces and let it soak in water for either overnight or for a few hours before you blend it up like this. Until you have about this consistency is how I did it. So I forgot to mention, I started out using a giant mold that I had made that did not have a deckle. I was just trying it with the mold, if that's correct. I don't know if that's vice versa, but I was just seeing how it would turn out if it did not have the top frame to help make the edges sharper. So as you watch, you'll see that these first few that I make, they're quite thin and they turned out fine. Once they dried, they were fine, but the edges are not as straight and not as nice as when you have the top frame. But I mean, I would say that it's not completely necessary to have both if you really can't. Oh.
It's as simple as it seems, the twinkle in your eyes, the way that time slows down when you kiss me. As we fall asleep in a bed of butterflies, just close your eyes and then you'll see it. You don't ever have to look too far, you don't have to cover up your scars. You're perfect, darling, just the way you are. So before you think to rip yourself apart, open up my heart and you'll find love, 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 love. Love, love, love. Open up my heart and you'll find love. It will never grow old, even when we grow up. It's up to us to stop and smell each rose. They're the colors that we show, it's the feeling that we trust, and it's the brush that we both carry. You don't ever have to look too far. You don't have to cover up your scars. You're perfect, darling, just the way you are. So before you think to rip yourself apart, open up my heart and you'll find love, 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 love.
Okay, so here we have the paper. Here's some of those smaller ones, how they turned out. They turned out pretty nice. I really like the texture. One thing I would say that I learned is that I had them laid out on that blanket, not blanket, on that fabric on the ground. Next time, or if you're looking into starting paper making, you can see how my paper has a lot of wrinkles in it. I'm new to this, so I don't know if there's like a certain way to get that out. I might just have to end up redoing those. The smaller ones turned out a lot better, but if you're looking into making paper yourself, something that I would do is either cut the fabric into smaller squares, or just make sure that the fabric is more laid out so when it dries, it'll dry flat on the fabric, because it's gonna dry with the same indentions that the fabric has. But I'll show you guys how a print turned out with this paper. Okay, so this is a digital drawing that I did, that I printed out on the paper. You can kind of see the texture, but it printed out beautifully. I really like how it looks. This is a Mother's Day gift for my mother-in-law and my of her and my father-in-law. So that's how it looks when you print on it. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on and say thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. We're kind of new here on YouTube, so we're figuring out how to talk to a camera and how to make videos. But we'd love if you would join us for our journey. And I am an artist. I do portrait drawings, but I'm trying to work on, I want to start doing paintings, so join along for that journey. Subscribe, comment if you have any advice on paper making, because that was my first time. I'm interested in learning more, and thanks for everything. Appreciate it. Bye guys.